All right, let's roll. It is 8:06 p.m. Central Time, so welcome, guys. This is it. Week number 8 out of 8, webinar number 8 out of 8. The final connection we will have is this Saturday for our final virtual lab at 2 p.m. Central Time. But for any of you that are not joining lab on Saturday, this will be the last hurrah for you, at least in this capacity. So you guys made it, you guys did it, and now we just got to finish strong. So what we're going to be talking about today is we do have a ton of content for today. Sheena is going to be taking you through the nutrition segment, as she is the nutrition expert amongst all of us. And then there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to be talking about when it comes to the end of term. We started talking about some of the components last week, but this week we're going to be talking about, as you saw there, the final assessment, other end of term communication that you guys have begun and will continue to get. And then for our non-sponsored student, the employment interest form that we want you guys to be able to fill out, and we'll talk about the hiring needs of our company as well. 2 housekeeping items. Number 1, if your name does not show your name in Zoom, please make sure you change it for our proper record keeping purposes. And then secondly, this is definitely one of the webinars, even though this is the final one, that you want to pay attention to. Particularly, I'm not telling you guys to zone out on Sheena and the nutrition segment, but especially with the end of term stuff, I guarantee you guys are going to have questions on the things that we're going to be talking about. It's okay if you have questions afterwards, but to be able to provide you the communication now on the front end so you're not wondering later will probably help you as you transition out of Lifetime Academy. All right, gang, so to get our minds moving and swirling in the right direction here, we talked about a lot of things over the last couple of weeks. What has been your major takeaway for this week, whether it be in the learning well, whether it be in your readings, activities? What stood out to you this week? You can come off mute as well if you're dying to speak. Maybe your client experiences as well. Did everyone take this week off from learning? Okay, perhaps. The degree I must market myself. Thank you, Rob. Maria didn't learn anything. All right, well, you guys better turn on your brains at least by the end of today. If we didn't have so much material, I'd be picking on somebody right now. All right, so I had to share this. I was going to share it last term. I was out during week 8. I was trying to reflect on why I didn't share this, but I had to share this because we've been talking about progression for so long, and periodization and balance and everything. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I thought it was a cool share. Obviously, this guy is clearly in shape, and he was doing what we used to call, and for some reason I can't stop sharing, we used to call back in my day like sexy exercises, basically things that look super cool to try to grab attention from your audience, things like that. And this really spoke to that. The reasons why a quote unquote sexy exercise doesn't cut it in most worlds. Like, it's not necessary. So just because you guys work out cool and whatnot, oh God. I wish we had the sound to that. I should have played the sound to that, but this is just going on repeat. And obviously this guy is in shape, but guys, when it comes down to it, it's not worth it. I have another story. Thanks for the emoji there, Rob, that I don't want to share right now, but if you guys want to talk about it later, just about somebody standing on the stability ball for another sexy exercise, which didn't work out for a member at Lifetime, unfortunately. So have you guys seen that before? I think that was like a month ago on social media, but all right, I'm going back to the PowerPoint. So give me a second here. All right, so the moral to that is proper progression, and don't do dumb things like that on the fitness floor. Not worth it. And Rob, for you, if you're going to be working for yourself, we talked about liability insurance. You're cashing out on that one. All right, Sheena, I'm going to turn it to you guys. Sheena's going to take you guys to the nutrition segment. A lot of good stuff here. Then we'll wrap it up with the nutrition, and we'll talk about end of term stuff. But Sheena, take it away. Tell me when you want me to toggle.
Toggle. All right, so starting off with nutrition, I think one of the one of the major misconceptions when it comes to nutrition, it's typically one way or the other. It's like personal trainers go way outside of scope of practice and give out meal plans and give out macros and all of that. Or they don't talk about nutrition at all. And so the client is left with a lot of misinformation and not really knowing what they should be doing. So just high level overview. The only thing that a registered dietitian can do, and there should actually be stars like all the way down this, an RD could do any of these things. But the one thing that an RD can do, a registered dietitian, and you might also see this with a T, so you can see it DIETIAN or CIAN, both are correct spellings. But the only thing that a registered dietitian would be able to do that a personal trainer cannot do is work with special populations. So if you have a client with heart disease, diabetes, cancer, anything like that, and or give out meal plans with very specific macronutrient recommendations and giving very specific vitamin and mineral recommendations that would be over a general recommendation. So like the recommended daily allowance is a general recommendation. You could recommend that to a client. What you can do and what you should be doing is providing guidance and education around some of the food guidance systems, healthy snack ideas, vitamin and supplement use, and water and hydration. And the primary reason for that is if you are not giving those recommendations, if you're not talking about those topics, then your clients are going to be seeking out information, and chances are they're probably not going to be sources that are aligned with your philosophy or how you really think about nutrition. So if we go ahead and go to the next slide here. Do I have to say toggle?
It has changed for me.
Oh, there we go. A little slow. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk about is metabolism. So when we think about metabolism, really what we're talking about is our energy expenditure, our energy intake, and the balance of that. So total energy expenditure is made up of your resting metabolic rate. And who knows, type in the chat, what is the percentage for resting metabolic rate? What's the percentage of total caloric burn that our RMR would be? %70. Okay.
And Sheena, as they're typing some more responses, maybe defining what is RMR might be helpful.
Yeah, I want them to define it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I was going to ask that in just a moment. 70, 60 to 75% resting metabolic rate. Yeah. So this is a lot of you are saying 70%. In real life, this is going to be a range. So it typically ranges anywhere from 60 up to 75%, depending on the client. The more active your client is, the less of a factor resting metabolic rate will be in their total calorie burn. The more active they are, the more active they are, the less it will be. The less active they are, the more it will be, because they have less activity throughout their day. Your resting metabolic rate is how many calories you're burning at rest. It's doing nothing. It's sitting on the couch, just relaxing all day. Then layered on top of that, we have our activity. So this is not specifically related to exercise. That's going to be separate, but our activity is going to be walking. It's going to be our general movement throughout the day, getting our 10,000 steps. And then TEF is going to be our thermic effect of food. So what is the thermic effect of food? You guys can come off mute as well if you'd like. Your food turning into energy? Yeah. What has the highest thermic effect of food? So of the macronutrients, what has the highest TEF? So fat has the highest calories per gram, but what has the high? Yes, Ibrahim, protein. So what that means is fat is going to have 9 calories per gram of fat. Carbohydrates and protein will each have 4. Alcohol has 7. But what that means is the energy that is required to break down protein into a usable form for the body is much, much higher. So your net calories from a gram of protein is actually going to be less than a gram from carbohydrates or a gram from fats, which is part of the reason why people that have higher protein diets tend to be able to maintain and or lose weight. Part of that equation is the thermic effect of food. It's not the entire equation, but that's part of it. Yes, alcohol has 7 calories per gram. Taking notes. Truly. Yeah, what kind is it? Is that like black cherry? So when we think about the macronutrients, protein is where we're going to start. So protein is going to help with building and repairing. It's important for hormone, enzyme, and peptide function for general population. And again, you guys don't have to know this in terms of recommendations for clients. You shouldn't be recommending grams per kilogram of body weight for clients. This is more for your knowledge, and you will have some questions about this on your exam. Okay, so this isn't specifically for you to make recommendations. It's more for your general knowledge. Sedentary population need 0.8 grams per kilogram per day of protein. Strength athletes, it's going to increase to 1.2 to 1.7. Endurance athletes, 1.2 to 1.4. And our overall percentage is 10 to 35%. Now, what's really, really important to note here is based on the philosophy that you follow in terms of your nutrition, you might follow some different macronutrient recommendations than what we're talking about here. So is there anyone here on the line? Go ahead and drop your percentage in the chat that eats higher than 35% protein in your diet. If you're following macros. Yes or no? No, okay. No, all right. Lots of no's. All right, Tyler says yes. And there's no right or wrong answer to this, right? So in general, at Lifetime, we recommend a 40% carb, 30% protein, 30% fat. That's kind of the general recommendation that our registered dietitians give. However, it varies based on clients. So the main thing that I want to highlight and point out, though, is you do need to know these percentages specifically for your NASM exam. So let's transition to carbohydrates. So remember, protein, important for muscle building, important for muscle maintenance, enzyme functioning. Carbohydrate is going to be the primary fuel source preferred by the brain. So your brain is always going to want carbohydrate as its preferred energy source. When you don't have enough carbohydrate, that's when your body is going to start breaking down muscle glycogen and trying to get carbohydrate from muscle glycogen. So energy, and again, that muscle glycogen will come from the muscles or the liver, and then regulating digestion, central nervous system functioning, and protein sparing. So again, if we're doing a really, really low carbohydrate diet, the body is going to start producing ketones, keto diet. And so we're actually going to start pulling in some of that energy source instead of relying on carbohydrates there. Daily intake for carbohydrate is 6 to 10 grams per kilogram body weight daily. And recommendation is 45 to 65% for carbs. Now, again, typically we're wanting to focus on natural whole sources of carbohydrate, fruits and vegetables. Carbs get a really, really bad rap. I've seen people on Instagram telling people not to eat fruit before because it's higher in carbohydrate. So just being aware of all of the information that your clients are being exposed to when it comes to everything nutrition is really, really important, and understanding their mindset. A lot of our clients have done lots of diets over the years. Chances are the majority of our clients are not going to necessarily have a healthy relationship with food. So the last thing we want to do is create a lot of dogma around what they're consuming or what they're putting in their mouths. So let's go to fats. Oh, carbohydrate recommendations. Sorry, I forgot about this one. So in general, before exercise, we're going to consume a higher carbohydrate meal 2 to 3 hours before their activity that lasts 60 minutes or more. You don't have to get into like specifics, right? So you can give general recommendations here for your clients. The ones who are going to want more information or more specifics around this are probably going to be like your endurance athletes, people who are training for a half marathon or a marathon. And in that case, you might just refer them to a nutrition coach or a registered dietitian. Liquid meal replacement formulas are an option there. And then smaller meals or liquid snacks should be consumed closer to the session. This is really important for making sure that their GI system doesn't start kicking in. You don't want to have to go to the bathroom in the middle of a training session. So preventing a lot of higher fat, a lot of higher fiber foods right before a training session is going to be really important. This also ensures proper glycogen refueling. All right, so our last macronutrient. I've had to hit a porta potty during a marathon. Yeah, it's not fun. I wouldn't know from experience. I'm not a marathon runner, but so fats, structure for cell membranes, hormone functioning, insulation. Fats are really important for a lot of hormone balance and hormone support. And then your fat soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, you have to have appropriate fat intake to absorb those vitamins. If you're not, then you're not going to get enough of those vitamins. On the flip side, that's also why it's really important to not recommend too much vitamin A, D, E, or K, because since they are fat soluble, they can get to toxic levels in the body. It's not common, but when it does happen, it's typically from supplementation, not from. So just being mindful of that. There's not really a specific recommendation in terms of daily intake on how much you should be having. There is a recommendation on really looking at mostly polyunsaturated fats. This is a very controversial topic based on which sources you like to do your research with. But looking at primarily polyunsaturated, layering in a few monounsaturated fats. Saturated fats have a pretty bad rap. Again, based on the research that you do on your own, you can kind of form your opinions there. Again, I'm going to stick to NASM specific nutrition information so I don't confuse you guys. But just know that there are a lot of different schools of thought and philosophies around that. And there are a lot of different approaches that work for different people. So my husband does really, really well on a keto diet. I do not. It does not work at all for me. My body doesn't do well with super high fat. So overall recommendation here is 20 to 35% of your diet coming from fats. Can you like play me some music in between slides, Zelig? I think that would be really sweet. All right, water. So what's really interesting about water, and we don't have it specifically in this slide, but I do talk about this in our lifetime training onboarding. As little as a 3% decrease in hydration levels or going into dehydration can create a lot of really, really negative effects, including performance. So if you have a client that's really struggling, if they have a performance goal, they want to hit a PR or something like that, there are a lot of negative ramifications in terms of performance, hormone balance, energy levels, metabolism. Your body has to have water for every metabolic process. So if you're not getting water, then your body is not going to, your metabolism is going to be suboptimal. So really, really important for proper metabolism and performance overall in general and energy levels. I use MyFitnessPal on my phone to help track my macros, water intake as well. Yes. And I mean, honestly, like I think I shared this with you guys when I was doing the 75 hard, but like filling up my water bottle in the morning, or actually my husband fills it up for me because he's so great. So my husband fills it up at night. It's ready to go in the morning. And then I drink my gallon of water. So like I have a very easy way to track my water intake. I fill up a water bottle, an individual water bottle, so I don't feel so overwhelmed with the entire jug. But just simple things like that can really help. My water bottle is my accessory, exactly. All right, so to kind of put a bow on this segment, the main thing that I want you guys to take away when it comes to nutrition specifically is have conversations with your clients and empower them to be a part of that process. You guys have learned about, I think it was Laura that called out behavior change. And so nutrition is all about behavior change. Focus on helping them identify things that they can add into their lifestyle to make them healthier, to help them have more energy, to help them sleep better at night, to have them, waking up feeling well energized, to have them moving throughout their day, feeling really good. And then focusing on the habits and behaviors that will help that. And by adding those things, and we've talked a little bit about addition versus subtraction, talking about increasing water intake versus taking their coffee away, talking about increasing their vegetable intake versus taking away something else. So at the end of the day, what works for one person is not going to work the same for another person. It is completely trial and error in terms of what works well. And to that point, Colin, it totally depends on the client. I personally do fasted cardio. It works for me. I have some clients that it doesn't work for at all. If I have a client who has struggled at all in the past with hypoglycemia, feeling lightheaded, feeling like their blood sugar levels are low, then I'm not even gonna recommend it. I'm not even gonna suggest it. I would say for the majority of my clients, it's not something that I talk about because I want them to be really, really dialed in to their nutrition, to how they feel, to their energy levels. I'm not going to talk about fasted cardio or anything else fasted workouts at all until they are incredibly, incredibly dialed in with all elements of their program. What do you do when your client struggles with or has struggled with an eating disorder or disordered eating? That would be a registered dietitian and or therapist referral. That is outside of scope of practice. So we'd want to get them to a clinician who could help them navigate through that. All right. So that is a wrap for nutrition. Again, this is something I think we could talk about all day. But if you guys do have additional questions, feel free to email me, reach out, let me know. And with that, we'll, Zelig, I believe this is the end, officially the end of nutrition, right? If you want to go to the next slide.
That is correct. That is correct.
And then I will pass the ball back to you to go through end of term.
Perfect. Well, that's awesome, Sheena. And I do want to weigh in my 2 cents there because Sheena, as Sheena being the resident expert when it comes to nutrition here, as you can tell, she's just scratching the surface when it comes to nutrition. And to her point, she could probably talk hours on it. And it is constantly a hot topic when it comes to the fitness industry. So when it comes to nutrition, my contribution here, guys, is you guys, once you guys are done becoming certified into Lifetime Academy, Sheena and I, we almost don't even view you guys as personal trainers, but as fitness professionals. And in my opinion, gone are the days where you could be one-sided in the fitness industry, where you're just certified as a trainer. You have to be multidimensional. And what I would highly recommend, let's just say that if I were to start my business 100% over again, I would get a nutrition certification just because it touches everyone. People are always going to have questions with it. And so if it's not, getting my CPT and maybe getting my CES or maybe my PN1 precision nutrition, it'd be one of those just because you're going to expand your book of business. And that goes for the entire state of the fitness industry, beyond your NASM CPT. Branch out, become multidimensional so you could be a nutrition coach, so you could be a boot camp instructor, so you could be a CrossFit USAW coach as well, because you're only going to expand your reach and thus increase your overall success as a fitness professional. So that'll be my one contribution to nutrition here, but definitely run with that.
Yeah, so one thing I just want to speak to really quickly, since you talked about nutrition coaching certifications, I agree 100%. And the thing that I would say about the nutrition coaching certifications is the majority of their focus is around motivational interviewing, behavior change, and coaching in general. It's not just about nutrition. A very small segment of it, I wouldn't say a small segment, but like 50% of it is actual like metabolism, biochemistry, science of nutrition. And half of it is on actually helping clients change behaviors and habits. So I have Precision Nutrition 1. I have NASM's CNC, Certified Nutrition Coach, and I have ISSA's, I think it's Fitness Nutrition Specialist, but it says Certified Nutrition Coach on the actual certificate. All of them are great. My first one was Precision, so that's probably going to be the one that I'm going to recommend pretty consistently. Lifetime team members do get a discount on those as well. And Jody, you can definitely recommend Lifetime supplements if you're going through Lifetime training onboarding. We spend some time talking specifically about Lifetime supplements. You cannot provide meal plans. No, that would be outside the scope of practice. So Zelig, I'll turn it over to you, and then I'll just answer these questions in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and great questions, guys. I really appreciate it. But let's move forward. So, guys, we're going to be talking about a series of things. We're going to be talking about final assessments. We're going to be talking about end-of-term communication, as well as employment interest towards Lifetime. So let's start off with the final assessments, because I know many of you guys are eager. So I'm going to explain it. I'm going to reshare my screen differently so you can see an example of a final assessment. Let me turn on the volume as well on this. I'll find it later. But final assessments, gang. So essentially, what the final assessment is you recording you and your client's interaction in an actual in-session experience. I'll be sharing how you are going to be scored and how you're going to be graded, how you're going to be submitting it via email, all that jazz in just a moment here. But it's going to be that entire in-session experience. What we recommend is that your recording should not be more than, I would even say 5 minutes. In the past, we've said 10 minutes. I don't think you need that much time, but you should be able to get everything done inside of 5 minutes. How this works out is you want to make sure that you're recording you and your client. You want to make sure that you're in a situation where you're easily seen and easily heard. So for example, when you are recording you and your client's in-session experience, you don't want to do it during the prime time hour inside of a Lifetime when there's plenty of people within 10 feet of you. The acoustics is not good. We're not going to be able to hear you. There's going to be a lot of distraction for you, your client, myself, or Sheena with all the different stimulus around you. So you want to make sure it's a little bit more of an intimate setting, maybe a group fitness studio, maybe at, as you can see here, this looks like it's a community center of some sort. Things like that is going to be the best place for you to do your recording. In addition to that, let me show you this. There is, I have provided a recording on how you could upload your recording onto YouTube. Send us a link so that we can properly evaluate you and watch that recording. So I'll show you where that's located. Actually, that will be part of your recap email tomorrow. And do I have another site? Nope. But let me share my screen differently so you can see an example of an actual recording of the assessment. Actually, first, I'm going to show you this right here. So this right here, what I'm showing you guys is the rubric, how Sheena and I are going to be grading you when it comes to your final assessment. This is exactly how we score you and how you're going to be providing feedback. But there are 5 different column skills that we want you guys to be able to master here. The first skill is going to be exercise selection. So did you select appropriate exercises and provide the appropriate acute variables per your client's SMART goal? Obviously, Sheena and I will not know what your client's SMART goal is, but the trust here is if you're training somebody in a stabilization endurance phase, a hypertrophy phase, and a power phase, that you're expressing that within the recording, and you're letting us know. Therefore, when you're expressing the acute variables as part of your tell, show, do process, we know that you're providing the proper acute variables. When it comes to exercise terminology, the skill here is, did the student use correct NASM terminology with regard to exercise names and exercise instruction. Guys, in my opinion, this is almost freebie points. It's just making sure that you guys are saying the correct exercise name properly, that you guys are calling out the body part or the muscles properly. So you're not calling the bicep the tricep, you're not calling the knee the ankle, or vice versa. So that would be exercise terminology, anything where it comes to any type of anatomical or physiological terms as well. The next one is going to be exercise demonstration, meaning did the student demonstrate proper kinetic chain checkpoint alignment and technique for a selected exercise. So this means during the show portion of Tell, Show, Do, did you actually demonstrate the exercise properly yourself? Within the exercise, properly demonstrating the exercise, you should be referencing appropriate kinetic chain checkpoints. So starting from the foot, ankle, knee, hip, head, shoulders, head, and neck. Like, are you referencing the proper kinetic chain checkpoints there? So, for example, if you're having your client do a level of a squat, like the most appropriate kinetic chain checkpoints are the ones that we've reviewed during all of our Tell, Show, Do experiences during lab, meaning make sure you're standing with your feet approximately shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider, keep your chest, head, and neck up, looking straight ahead. Like, those are the appropriate kinetic chain checkpoints that we want to be hearing. Do you have to name all of them with your exercise demonstration? No, you don't necessarily have to name every single one, but you should be naming the ones that are pertinent to that exercise. In addition to the exercise demonstration, is your form correct? So while you're demonstrating the exercise and explaining the kinetic chain checkpoints and providing how to actually do the exercise, is your form correct? We're going to be looking for that because as a fitness professional, obviously you should be demonstrating what your client want to do in correct form. The next skill is kinetic chain checkpoint cueing. So in the actual do portion of your client, so when your client is actually going through the exercise, did the student utilize effective cueing so that the client attained proper kinetic chain checkpoint? Meaning, was there any form corrections that you needed to do to make during the in-session experience, and did you do them properly? So if Sheena and I see your client doing an exercise incorrectly, did you take the time to correct them properly, referencing the different kinetic chain checkpoints that are appropriate? Meaning, let's just say, hypothetically say, if the foot and ankle stance is too narrow during a squat, where maybe the toes started flaring out and they started pronating the foot, did you make the adjustment where maybe they should be providing more space between feet? And did you reference that during your corrections? So that might be an example of a kinetic chain checkpoint cueing within that skill. And then finally is going to be coaching ability. And this is a little bit more, I would say, on the subjective side. It's just we want to be able to see that did you properly encourage, motivate, engage during the exercise with your client? Did you provide professionalism, enthusiasm, or is the experience mundane? How you really want to think about this is if you're charging $130 per session, is it worth it? Or are you just kind of standing off center, you're counting, your arms are crossed, and you're showing like you're not having a good time? Other examples of what you should be doing is maybe you're pacing around your client, you're constantly engaged, you're counting when appropriate, you're correcting form when appropriate, you sound excited like you're having a good time, and maybe you're looking at different vantage points to see if there's any type of form correction that should be taking place. So those are the 5 different skills. I think it was 5 different skills that we're looking for. What happens is Sheena and I would fill this out appropriately, we submit it, you would get a copy of it for feedback. You're more than welcome to ask any questions or points of clarification, and then we hand it into student services where they provide a proper record of it as part of your overall completion of our program. So Sheena, was there anything I missed? Any questions on the chat board, or team, is there any questions that you might have? Feel free to type it in the chat board as well.
I didn't see the question, but I just want to clarify that on the video submission, it will be 1 set of each exercise for core stabilization resistance. So for example, it would be a stability ball squat curl press, 1 set of 12 reps. It would be a ball chest press, 1 set of 12 reps, a ball row, 1 set of 12 reps, a ball shoulder press, 1 set of 12 reps, a step up, 1 set of 12 reps. So your video should be 10 minutes max one set of 10 reps of only resistance. So we're not doing warm up. We're assuming that you've already done the warm up. You've already done core balance plyometric. You've already done SAQ. We're doing resistance exercises, one set of each of your stability exercises, your stabilization exercises for a total body workout.
What I'm going to add to that, Sheena, and thank you for clarifying that, guys. Yes, you could demonstrate with your client and have them do 10 reps, but when you're expressing the acute variables, so the reps, the sets, the tempo, the rest periods, those are the 4 things that we're looking for that you should be verbalizing to your client. Please make sure you're saying the proper rep amount that you want them to do per the acute variable chart. So even though you're having them do 10 reps, if you're in stabilization endurance, you should be saying 12 reps, or you should be saying 15 reps, 20 reps, whatever falls within that rep range. The reason being is I want you guys to have that practice that the amount of reps you're providing should be factual to the phase of training that you're actually coaching your client. So hopefully that didn't confuse you guys any further, but any questions to that, unmute yourself or type it in.
Yeah, details will be provided, Brittany. So we'll outline all of this for you. But I just want to give a really quick example of this. So Zeleg's my client, right? We're doing the video. All right, Zelig, we got you all warmed up. Now we're going to get into our resistance component of our session today. So for today, we're focusing on core stabilization. We're going to be doing 1 to 3 sets of each of our exercises. We're focusing on between 12 to 20 reps. We're going to do 50 to 70% of your 1 rep max. And we're going to be resting for about 0 to 90 seconds in between exercises. So we're also going to be going at a really slow pace. We're going to be doing a 4-2-1 tempo. In real life, I wouldn't say a 4-2-1 tempo to most of my clients. But again, this is for our purposes to make sure that you know it. We're going to be doing a 4-2-1 tempo. And then when I demonstrate, I'm going to count out that 4-2-1 tempo for Zelig, demonstrate a couple reps, and then I'm going to have him tell, show, do.
That was a great explanation, Sheena. Appreciate that. Worst case scenario, guys, I would over-index the amount of things you're saying. If you're unsure, just say it. It's not going to harm you as long as obviously the acute variables or whatever you're showing is correct. So let's see, another comment. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, so let me show you this example. I believe the student was from last term. I think I did turn on the sound correctly. So let's give it a whirl here and hopefully you guys can hear what she's saying. Let me turn on my sound before we get started here, just in case. And we'll give it a go.
Really quickly too, make sure that if you are recording, like if you're going into Lifetime and you're recording in Lifetime, you cannot record anyone that you do not have consent to record. So you need to make sure that your client approves of you recording it, and then make sure you're in a private space where you're not getting anyone else in the background.
Thank you. All right, I think the sound is on, guys, so here we go. Of course, I expanded my screen and now I cannot press the play button on the bottom there. Wow, that like 100% sucks, but let me press escape. That work? All right, here we go.
Stability ball. So we're going to go ahead and take it at a nice, easy 50% intensity at like a very slow 4-2-1 tempo. And I'll show you exactly what all that kind of stuff means. But we're going to be doing 2 sets of 12 reps, and that'll be it for each of the workouts today. So I want to go ahead and start with the squat pull press. So we're going to use some pretty light weights, nice and easy weights, either 5 to 10, whatever you feel comfortable with. We're going to go ahead and start with the ball in our lower back. Feet are going to be shoulder width apart. And you're going to have the dumbbells down to your sides. You're going to come down for 4, hold for 2, and up for 1. So we have down, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, up, 1. When you get to the top, it's going to be curl, 2, press, 2, hold, 1, 2, down, 1. Right? Okay. Alright. So I'll let you go ahead and give that a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Ready? Go ahead and go down, 2, 3, 4, hold, 1, 2, up, 1, curl, 1, 2, press, 1, 2, hold, 1, 2, down, 1. How does that feel?
Feels really good.
All right, you can go ahead. You don't have to go down too low. Maybe just have like a 90-degree angle on the knees. Make sure those feet are straight. And go ahead and go for another breath. 2, 3, 4, hold 1.
All right. So with that being said, gang, I know it may have been hard for you guys to somewhat hear that via Zoom, but what I would recommend to all of you is that you guys do like maybe a quick 1 minute, 2 minute rough run through with your client. Listen to the recording, make sure you can hear yourself properly. Truly treat this, guys, as if you're submitting this as part of your interview process to your employer. Like, you don't want to submit something that's rough and tough and real janky, but something that's professional, that you guys have rehearsed, that you have practiced the actual experience, so that we can hear it properly when you actually submit it as well. So hopefully that helps provide a little bit of insight of what we're looking for. We're not going to play the whole thing, obviously, but what I could do, just in case you want to see the full thing, I could send you the link of that example in tomorrow's recap. So that way you have a little bit of influence there as well.
So
All right.
and I think that I think one thing that I want to highlight as well is that you guys could actually use this to market yourselves. So whether it's if you're really good with technology, if you're really good with social media, like you could create your video, use an app to make it really cool and add in text and things like that, and actually use it to market yourself as a personal trainer. And also, again, like Zelig said, you could send this to the personal training manager at Lifetime if you're interviewing at Lifetime, or to I would maybe wait till you get our feedback, make sure everything looks good. But you can actually use that as part of your interview process. Zelig, I did want to ask, there were a couple questions on the chat and I felt like they were relevant for the group, so I wanted to just kind of ask them out loud. So Brittany asked, will we have access to the Learning Well after completing week 8, or will it all close out completely? So I don't know if you have confirmation on how long they will have access to the course. Oh, you answered.
Yeah, I just answered it. I believe it's about 2 to 3 weeks after grades close. So if grades close, hang on, and extensions are done 23rd, 30th. So it's gonna be, I believe by the end of June, you guys are gonna lose access, so long as you are not a Lifetime team member. But I will get final confirmation on that. That is a good question, just overall. Other questions on the chat board otherwise?
Yeah, so the other one I saw was, is it exercises from the book? So Kelsey, we do recommend exercises from the book just to have confirmation that you guys know, because on your exam, the exercises that they'll ask you about will be directly from the book. So if you feel really confident with knowing these are core exercises, these are core stabilization exercises, these are strength exercises, these are power exercises, then you're going to increase your likelihood of doing well on the exam. And there's one more question I saw in here. Let me see where it is. Is it only resistance? I answered that one in the main conversation. Only resistance. So we're making the assumption that you've already done warm up, you've already done core balance, plyometric, you've already done SAQ. It is one set of each exercise, one set of the appropriate rep range for a total body workout.
Maria, did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just a little confused. You're saying one set of each exercise. Does that mean, like, if I wanted to do power phase, am I just showing that resistance training of the superset of the one exercise followed by the power exercise? And then how many different exercises? That's what I'm a little confused with. I'm not sure if it's like 5 exercises to show or just one.
It would be a total body workout. So you need total body, chest, back, shoulders, biceps, triceps are optional, and then legs. So
if I'm in the power, if I wanted to do the power phase, I have to do them all in the power phase?
yes. So you need to choose your phase of training. Are we doing phase 1, Zelig?
They can choose their phase of training as long as they're expressing the phase that they're training in. That way we have a reference to the proper acute variables.
So the exercise selection is up to you. You need to have a total body exercise. You need to have a chest, back, shoulder, and leg at minimum. So 5 exercises minimum. If you want to have bicep and tricep, you can, but we're doing a total body workout. So based on the programming template, it'd be total body, chest, back, shoulders, biceps, triceps optional, and then legs.
So the power phase probably would not be a good thing to take a client through with all of that work. That would be a lot of work in that resistance phase, because that's
probably a fair statement, Maria, but to your discretion. Right.
okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So the next thing I want to show you
Yeah,
guys.
I mean, the purpose of this assignment is we want to see you coach and cue through a total body program. We want to see you coach and cue through an exercise for each major muscle group. And we want to see you articulate the appropriate acute variables and exercise selection and all of that. So it's really more about your coaching ability and your programming ability versus taking your client through a workout. So keep that in mind as well. Like it doesn't have to be like moving at a really quick pace for the workout. This is more for our ability to assess your coaching ability and then provide feedback on that.
I have a question quick. So with the stabilization, I saw that there was the first one in the resistance workout is total body, and it says optional. So is there like the first one, you're talking about it too, where you do one exercise that incorporates like your whole body and then you move into the specific like body parts like biceps, triceps, legs, chest, back, things like that. So you're doing one total body exercise to begin the workout or no?
Yeah, so the programming template is the order, the exercise order is total body, chest, back, shoulders, biceps, triceps optional, and then legs.
Okay. So you
So like if you're doing a
have
total body workout, yep, that would be the order for a total body workout, which is what we want to see for this. Now, that doesn't mean that in real life programming, you can't do split routines. It doesn't mean you can't do a push-pull day or anything like that. It's just, again, we want to see you coaching and cueing through exercises for each major muscle group, including total body. So total body is optional for this assignment. We want you to include total body in there.
In like when you're doing it like as a personal trainer, when and when do you not decide that it is appropriate to do like a total body to start the workout?
I would say the only time I don't do a total body exercise is either A, if I have a client who is incredibly deconditioned and uncoordinated, like they just don't have a lot of body awareness, where I want to start with single joint exercises. And the goal would be to build them up to multi-joint exercises. But I would say probably 80 to 90% of my clients, when we're doing total body programming, are doing a total body exercise to start the workout. And we'll also,
Is there any other questions that are pertinent to the final assessment? I just want to be respectful of everyone's time, and I'm afraid if we take other programming type questions, we might go over on time. I think there's like maybe 5 or 6 other slides here.
I just had a quick question. If we submit our video before the deadline, can we get feedback from you guys?
I don't know about you, Sheena, but if the deadline is on the 23rd, I probably, depending on my schedule, won't start grading anything until shortly after. So it's not from my vantage point, for my students, it wouldn't be a guarantee. Sheena, I don't know if you have a stance there for your online students.
I would probably agree. I mean, I would say if you got it to me like by mid next week, I might be able to take a look at it. But I don't want to make a guarantee that I can like check everyone's and give them feedback and then actually grade your assignment. So I can't guarantee that. What
I would say, guys, is I'm going to be providing you guys, I could link you guys to the rubric as well. I'm sure you could do your self-evaluation if you've checked off all the boxes and have scored optimally within the points. Therefore, if you're worried about if you're passing the final assessment or not, at least you have that gauge. So, all right. So I think the final thing I want to show you guys regarding the final assessment in tomorrow's recap, I'm going to link you to this as well on YouTube. I'm not going to play it 4 minutes and 29 seconds, but it's essentially how to upload a video onto YouTube. So you guys can take the URL that YouTube provides and just send the URL to your instructor. What you do not want to do, and what we'll probably not accept because our inboxes at Lifetime doesn't have enough capacity, is the actual video in the email. So what we want is the URL link from YouTube. Hopefully that's clear. The deadline for that is, Tyler, going to be the 23rd, end of day. All right, back to the PowerPoint, because I think there's one more topic to discuss here. All right, end of term communication. So a couple of things within end of term communication. Number one, all of you guys received this communication from Katie and Student Services last week. So please make sure to take a look at it if you haven't. But more importantly, I believe she has sent this out today. So she sent out more communication regarding CPR, how you could affirm that you are ready to take your NASM exam. You want to make sure you keep this communication, because what will happen is once we're done with the term, if you are in fact ready to take your NASM exam, I know this slide shows 3 different bullet points on here, but I believe the 4th bullet point talks about how you need to email Student Services, affirm that you are ready to take the NASM exam, so they could provide you your code to register for the exam and schedule it on the NASM website, on the NASM website. So take a look at that. If you feel like you have not received this email, please make sure to check your spam box. And after doing so, and if you feel like you have not received it, check your trash just in case you haven't deleted it accidentally. And at that point, if you still feel like you have not received it, then please make sure to email your online instructors so you get this information. Important stuff, especially as we exit out of the term and you guys, I'm sure, want to take your NASM exam. Leo, so I would probably check with your certifying body and see what other parameters to renewing your CPR exam. I know all of them are a little bit different. Sometimes they give you a grace period where if you were to take it like now, it would count maybe at a lesser fee. I know some certifying bodies allow a late renewal as long as you pay an inflated renewal price. So I will check with your certification body. All right, gang, NASM exam, good to know items here. And this was just a culmination from past students, but there's a fair amount of questions on your NASM exam, on your queuing, proper technique, exercise selection as far as progressions, maybe regressions, as opposed to the acute variables, and then underactive and overactive muscles. Other best practices, make sure you're overly prepared. I think that goes without saying. And then review the module activities. We had a student from, I think, last term or 2 terms ago saying that the module activities that are found in the Learning Well, even though they did provide a handful of pain points as far as quote unquote passing in the Learning Well, it did prepare people for the NASM exam. The last link I will be providing you guys in tomorrow's recap email. So a lot of links, but we want you guys, as much as you want to, stay connected amongst each other. What that means is I'm going to be providing a link, a survey link via MailChimp to see if you guys want to stay connected. I wouldn't mind starting another, helping start a study group amongst all of you. So I'll take responses through the end of the week, and anyone that responds to starting the study group led by you guys, I'll just start the communication. Then you guys can figure out how you guys want to meet, how you guys want to study together, but helps provide the community and support each other in your endeavors. Leo loves a study group. Okay. All right. And employment interest form. So this next segment here, guys, this is for the non-Lifetime employees that are currently sponsored through Lifetime. So for any external students, within tomorrow's recap email, and you did receive the same link from Student Services, many of you have already filled it out. I think I probably got 20 responses in my inbox. We want you to fill out this Lifetime Academy Graduate Employment Interest Form. If you have any interest in going through the interview process and working for Lifetime, whether it's as soon as possible in the next 3 months or after 3 months, please fill this out. On Saturday, I'm going to be providing more detailed instruction on how you can formally apply with Lifetime. So please look out for that. But what I will say, and Sheena, I'm going to ask you to piggyback, I think you're still on, is that right now that we know, because Sheena and I are both ingrained in the hiring process at Lifetime, our company is hiring for talent, for individuals such as yourself that are coachable, that are looking to build a business, that are eager. And if there was any time to be hired by Lifetime, in my opinion, it would be now. No matter how you feel you might be ready, it's so long as you are interested in applying for lifetime, there's no greater chance to be hired than now. So with that being said, Sheena, anything you want to weigh in there as far as the hiring at lifetime?
Well, I want to go back really quickly. There was a question on the chat board about taking the exam. So you guys have 6 months to sign your affirmation from Student Services. And then once you've signed your affirmation, you have 6 months to actually take the exam. However, I do not recommend waiting, because what will happen is you have every intention of devoting your time to studying and, you know, putting in the work. You're not going to have that same accountability level that you've had over the last 8 weeks. And what typically happens is students end up not taking the exam. So you spent all this time, all this energy, invested this money in going through the process, and then your time lapses, and then you have to pay a fee to actually extend your exam code. So please, please, please set a timeline now, set a SMART goal, set a timeline for when you want to do it. I would say no more than 12 weeks. So planning on taking your exam no more than 12 weeks from today, so that everything stays fresh in your memory. Put together your schedule of when you're going to study, so that you can successfully complete not just this course, but more importantly, pass your CPT exam.
Sheena, I want to double down on that because I 100% agree. In my 7 years as an instructor for Lifetime Academy, it is unfortunate, but I can't even count the amount of people that tell me they've passed Lifetime Academy, but they've never taken their NASM exam. I don't know why. I can't think of the reasons why. But what I do know is life always gets in the way of
Fear of failure.
something.
Fear of failure.
What's that? And you guys understand how life works. You think you want to give yourself maybe another month to study a little bit more, but then something happens at work, something happens with your friends or family. By the time you know it, as Leo said on the chat board, you forget what you've already learned and you have to relearn the material. Don't let that happen to you. Don't second guess yourself. When you're ready, you're ready. Go ahead, Sheena.
The other thing that I was just going to say is, yes, we are hiring. And I think that the important thing to recognize about that is this is an opportunity. It's not a guarantee. So you're not guaranteed a position at Lifetime. The things that you really want to focus on is, like we talked about before, making the video and making sure that you have a way to showcase your skills. The biggest challenge or barrier that you guys are going to face when looking at not just employment at Lifetime, but employment in the industry is people are going to say, what experience do you have? So if you can showcase the fact that you've worked with friends and family over the last 6 to 8 weeks, you can provide client testimonials, have those individuals write a testimonial about their experience working with you. Even if you didn't train them, even if you went through assessments and you coached and cued them and they did a video with you, even just talking about your experience, your professionalism, your communication, all of those things that a training manager is going to be looking for in a prospective new hire. Be prepared for your interview. Ask questions about what to expect in the interview process. So take that level of professionalism that we have expected of you over the 8 weeks and carry that into the interview process. If you guys have questions, if you want to dive a little bit deeper into that, I'm happy to connect with you and talk a little bit more specifically about it in terms of what you can do to prepare for your interview, but just making sure that you take the opportunity seriously, so that you it turns into a position, it turns into a career.
Kate, I would say, yeah, if you're ready to work for Lifetime, I would apply. So I'll be providing you the application links after Saturday's lab. But the first step I think you already took is by filling out this LT Academy Graduate Employment Interest Form. Just the reason why behind that, gang, is Sheena and I, we like to provide the interest to the regional managers and PT managers directly. What happens when you apply formally on the website? It goes through recruiting. And although as a Lifetime Academy grad, your name technically goes to the top of the application list as far as getting you through the interview process, there's still a little bit of lag. The benefit with Sheena and I being instructors, we could lean on the PT managers and the regional managers a little bit more to get you guys through the process a little bit faster as well.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All
That
right,
was
so guys, as we begin to wrap up here, I know we're 5 minutes over, but again, all important information. This is the final follow-up and prepare. You guys should be complete through week number 8. Begin working on your final assessment. Final assessments are due on Sunday, the 23rd. So 1 week after the term wraps up, which is this weekend after our final lab on Saturdays. Lab is going to be 2 p.m. Central Time per usual. And what's important to remember to review on here is going to be the protocol review of everything that we discussed over the last 8 weeks. We'll also be talking about the interview process as I stated. Sheena, unfortunately, it sounds like will not be joining us. I'm going to stand on my soapbox on Saturday, but Sheena, what are your final thoughts and words for the entire group?
Well, I want to confirm really quickly that you're also going to be doing my focus hour on Friday.
Pending, I will confirm tomorrow as well.
Okay.
I can't commit to it quite
yeah.
yet.
We planned May 14th is my 10-year wedding anniversary. So we've got a little mini vacation that we're taking. So I will not see you guys. And I didn't connect the dots between our last lab and that trip until literally tonight, right before our webinar. So unfortunately, I won't be able to see you guys on Saturday. Honestly, I think it's just the level of energy and intensity and commitment that this group has brought it's been such an honor getting to work with you all over the last 8 weeks and being a part of your journey. I hope you know that the support does not end here, whether you are working at Lifetime or not. So reach out to us, ask us questions, share your successes, share your celebrations. We love seeing that. Tag us on social media when you get your certification. We love seeing those as well. But yeah, just thank you guys so much for allowing us to be part of your journey. We are honored and we feel very privileged to have met all of you.
All right. Cool. Thanks for that, Sheena, guys. And let us do a quick group picture. We're not going to be able to get everyone, but cameras on if possible. We'll try to get as many people as possible, but I know our social media would like to probably post this picture. And I'm going to just snip the picture. So smile in 3, 2,
Yeah, you
and
have to. I had
All
to stop talking.
go ahead. What were you saying, Sheena?
You have to make sure that you guys connect with us on social if you would like to be tagged in the photo.
Cool. Well, with that being said, gang, that wraps up our final webinar together, but not our last connection. Hopefully we see you on Saturday, 2 p.m. Central Time. In the meantime, please reach out with any questions, and we are happy to assist. Great job, guys.
If you have time, Zelig, I have just one more question
Sure.
about the final assessment. Is that what determines our completion of Lifetime Academy?